Pirates, warlords, yonkos, and marines. You know a lot about these guys, but how much do you actually know about the secret organizations within the marines? No, I'm not talking about this secret organization. I'm talking about the infamous organization known as Cipher Pol, created by and working for the world government. But what missions have they actually been tasked with throughout the entirety of One Piece? Thinking this to myself, I decided to go back through the whole One Piece story to uncover what this unit of assassins has really been up to all this time. There are a total of 10 individual Cipher Pol agencies that form part of Cipher Pol as the collective title of the organization. The Cipher Pols from CP1 to CP8 are located in 8 bases in different parts of the world and aim to identify and recover any information useful to the world government. There are 2 more, namely CP9 and CP0. Both units enjoy privileges not in the public domain, including the ability to kill anyone perceived as a threat to the world government. They generally don't deal with simple pirates or criminals, but with bigger threats, such as one posed by the Revolutionary Army. To avoid any confusion while diving into each mission that Cipher Pol has undergone, I will quickly list and provide information on each relevant unit and members we see the most of. There is little to no information on CP units 1 through 4, so jumping straight into CP5, led by Spandam, who has been the chief of CP9 and 5, and while their specialty is now known, they have been shown to be capable of stealth, thievery, sailing, as well as operating special weapons. CP9 was a special unofficial group within Cipher Pol that specializes in assassinations. The current known members of CP9 consist of Spandam, who was originally the leader of CP5 before being transferred to CP9. Rob Lucci, who wields the power of the cat fruit to transform into a leopard. He fights at his best when switching between a faster human form and a high-powered human monster form with a wider range. He can also use the Geppo 6 powers to move through the air. Kaku possesses the Ushi Ushi no Mi model giraffe, which is a Zoan-type devil fruit, and received the devil fruit from Spandam during Enies Lobby arc. The devil fruit allows Kaku to transform into a giraffe at will. He is proficient in all 6 forms of the Rokushiki, but his expertise seems to be in the rank Yaku, due to his many variations of the technique. Spandam was the head of the CP9 unit 20 years before the current events and the father of Spandam. Just like his son, he has no skills unlike his subordinate, and comes across as cowardly and full of himself. And the last major player in CP9 is Who's Who, a current Toby Roppo who ate an ancient Zoan-type devil fruit, who used to serve as a CP9 agent over a decade ago. After failing a mission, he was dismissed and imprisoned as a traitor, and then later escaped and became a target of the world government. The final and most formidable arm of Cipher Pol. Unbound by the world government's leash, they dance under the direct tutelage of the world nobles. Guanika, an assassin of unbelievable strength and trust within CP0's ranks. Maha, the masked enigma adorned in tribal guise, holds secrets vital enough to have caught the attention of the world nobles. His tasks in the Wano country paint a cryptic picture of the perilous missions tied to the fate of the nations. Stussy, the clone masterpiece of Mads, having been modelled after Miss Buckingham Stussy, she is a spy in the employment of Dr. Vegapunk, who spent years working deeply undercover in the world government until she was forced to discard her cover. Gizmonda and Joseph, shrouded in masks that obscure more than they reveal, stand as silent sentinels. Their significance was hidden behind their intimidating facades. Obtaining the blueprints of the ancient weapon Pluton. The mission began 22 years ago when Spandam was sent by the world government to investigate the O'Hara Island, but ended up going a tad bit overboard. After arriving at O'Hara, he captured Nico Olivia and apprehended the O'Hara clan. Once he gathered all the scholars outside the Tree of Knowledge, he had his men search the tree and they found a poneglyph. Spandam allowed Professor Glover to speak to the 5 elders through Denden Mushi that Sengoku gave him, but before Clover could reveal the name of the ancient kingdom, Spandam shot him on the orders of the 5 elders. He then took out the golden Denden Mushi and summoned the Buster Call, setting the island ablaze, destroying everything. The orders of investigation were actually orders to destroy any and all knowledge of the island and the information contained within. When he was nearly hit by cannon fire, he decided to give up on Olivia and fled back to his ship. When Nico Robin attempted to board the evacuation ship, Spandam told the citizens not to let her on board and was horrified to see the Vice Admiral Sakazuki destroying the evacuation ship and killing everyone on it, leaving no loose ends. After Nico Robin escaped, Spandam tried to pursue her. He later reported to Sengoku and told him about the girl. Transporting the Gum Gum fruit. Shanks' possession of the Gum Gum fruit within the red-haired crew sparkled endless speculation about his intention for this power. However, before his plans could unfold, Luffy consumed the fruit. Yet something we did find out, however, was how the Gum Gum fruit came into the red-haired crew's possession. During the Wano arc, we learned that Who's Who was given a mission to safely escort the Gum Gum fruit to the government stronghold. However, after his failure to prevent the theft of the Gumma Gumma no Mi from the red-haired pirates, he was dismissed from his position as an operative and sent to prison. He managed to escape, but has since developed a grudge against the world government for inflicting such a punishment on him over a single mistake, culminating in his decision to become a pirate and form his own crew. Investigating the O'Hara scholars' research on the Void Century. 10 years before the current storyline, Spandam, the chief of CP5, appealed to the Five Elders to gain control of the ancient weapon Pluton in order to bring the Great Pirate Era to an end. His true intention, however, was to use its immense power to overthrow the government and rule the world himself. His research led him to Water 7 and attempted to blackmail Tom for Pluton's blueprints. When confronted with the blackmail, Tom feigned ignorance, but when Spandam left, he entrusted the blueprints to his apprentice, Iceberg and Cutty Flam, to ensure that they would never fall into the government's hands. This prompts Spandam to frame Tom for an attack on a world government's ship, resulting in Tom's arrest. Cutty Flam suffered a seemingly fatal accident, leaving the task of keeping the blueprints to Iceberg. 3 years later, Spandam had become chief of CP9 and sent 4 agents undercover into the city to locate and obtain the blueprints. 4 years after his assumed death, Cutty Flam with his newly cyberized body returned to Water 7 and secretly met with Iceberg, who gave the blueprints to him for safekeeping. Iceberg requested Cutty Flam that he forego using his real name, but only go by the nickname we all know and love, Frankie.
Super! Yo, Nami!
Out of necessity to avoid being arrested, he followed the first part of the advice, but refused to leave the island, much to Iceberg's anger. This resulted in Spandam coming up empty and failing to retrieve the blueprints, capturing Nico Robin and attempt number 2 of obtaining the blueprints of Pluton. The world government activated sleeper agents, among them Lucci. Undercover in Water 7, he seamlessly integrated into the Galila Company. As the Straw Hat Pirates arrived in Water 7, the covert CP9 operatives led by Lucci and Spandam came across Robin and sprung into action. Their targets now were the Pluton blueprints from Iceberg. They aimed to eliminate any obstacles in their path. However, their plot took an unexpected turn when they discovered that the blueprints in Iceberg's possession were clever forgeries. Undeterred, the CP9 agents shifted their focus to Frankie, uncovering his true identity and deducing that he held the genuine blueprints. They set course for Enies Lobby, yet as the journey unfolded, Frankie learns of Robin's innocence in the weapon's revival and becomes a reluctant ally. The tide turned when the Straw Hat Pirates stormed Enies Lobby, declaring war on the world government to rescue Robin. Witnessing this display, Frankie, in a surprising twist, revealed the authentic blueprints concealed within his own body all along, and in a defiant act, he incinerated the plans before Spandam's eyes, shattering the government's hopes of countering the real weapon. This resulted in the mission becoming a failure, to retrieve the blueprints and to capture Nico Robin, and this marks a pivotal moment in the ongoing clash between the Straw Hat Pirates and the world government, dismissing the abdication of Doflamingo as fake news. The Straw Hat Pirate Alliance attempted to force Don Quixote Doflamingo from his position of one of the 7 warlords of the sea by using Caesar Clown as a hostage. However, Doflamingo uses his influence and lineage as a former celestial dragon to create a lie that influenced the whole world by acting as if he actually abdicated. CP0 was then set to the task of cleaning up that lie, arriving on the island of Dressrosa and telling the citizens that the earlier announcement of Doflamingo's resignation and abdication from the throne is false. Guernica proceeded to say that the mistake will be corrected through an extra edition of the newspaper set to be released at 3 PM. He warns the citizens to keep this information a secret until the edition is released. Due to the teamwork of Dofi and CP0, they were successful in tricking Law and his allies into staying long enough at the exchange point. The mission to negotiate with Orochimaru? What the heck? Wrong anime. With Orochi regarding new supply weapons. Other than being one of the 7 warlords of the sea and the ruler of Dressrosa, Doflamingo held another crucial position that not many people in the One Piece verse knew. He was the biggest arms broker in the underworld and supplied all kinds of weapons to all kinds of people. One of those people being the world government. Now that Doflamingo is out of the picture though, the world government needed to find another way to procure these weapons. The best way to do it by going straight to the manufacturer themselves, which is in the country of Wano. After all, since Kaido took control of Wano, the country had effectively become a massive weapon factory. Just before the Battle of Onigashima, the world government sent the CP0 unit comprised of the agents Guanika, Maha, and Joseph to have an audience with the then shogun of Wano, Orochi. They attempted to negotiate a deal for sea stone items, although Orochi proved to be especially unhelpful, demanding Dr. Vegapunk as compensation. The negotiations broke down, but they were still invited to the Beast Pirates Fire Festival. The capture of Nico Robin, attempt number 2. During the Beast Pirates Fire Festival, the raid on Onigashima had begun. Guanika, Maha, and Joseph acted as passive observers sitting in one of the nearby rooms. They received orders to capture Nico Robin from a transponder snail in the possession of Lucci, who was on a nearby island with Kaku and Stussy. Amid the chaos of Onigashima's flames, Guanika and Maha relentlessly pursued Robin and Brook, closing in with every step. Trapped and cornered, the intense heat threatened to engulf them until Izo, a valiant member of the Whitebeard Pirates and an ally of Wano, rushed to their aid. Episode 1068 unveiled the intense clash between Izo and the CP0 agents. Despite CP0 offering a chance for Izo to walk away if he didn't intervene, his loyalty to Robin and the Straw Hats propelled him into a fierce battle. The CP0 agents unleashed their formidable Shigan techniques, overwhelming Izo as he fought valiantly against their combined assault. Despite his bravery, the toll was too much, and Izo eventually succumbed, delivering a final blow to Maha before collapsing. After the chaos subsided, CP0 regrouped, ready to resume their pursuit of Robin. However, unexpected orders halted their mission. An unseen authority commanded them to stand down momentarily, putting a halt to their chase for the elusive archaeologist. The execution of Monkey D. Luffy. As the battle in Onigashima nears its end, it becomes clear that the old powers suffered more losses and defeats than the new pirates in the Samurai Alliance. That is when Joseph informs Guanika that an imperial command came from the Five Elders to assassinate a pirate from the worst generation by the name of Monkey D. Luffy, who is currently fighting against Kaido on the rooftop of Onigashima. He made his way to the rooftop and used Tekai to hold Luffy back, causing Kaido to unfairly win the battle, killing Luffy. Knowing that there would be consequences for interfering, Guanika only tipped his hat as he accepted his fate, resulting in him being struck by Kaido's Kanabo. Whether he died or not is still unknown. Capturing Princess Vivi and holding her captive. Meanwhile at the Leverly, CP0 made an appearance protecting St. Charlos from Leo and Sai, who attempted to attack him after the world noble tried to enslave Princess Shirahoshi. In the end, they left after being told to stand down. A few days later, Vivi stumbled upon Lucci, shadowing her footsteps at Redport. His claim of wanting to protect her was met with Vivi's sardonic rejection, her disdain for his past actions evident. Little did she know that her mistrust in Lucci would soon be vindicated as she found herself a target for his colleagues. Becoming an enemy of the world government due to the ominous Imu and the powerful Five Elders uncovering her link to the mysterious Will of D, Vivi's precarious situation escalated when CP0, the very organization Lucci belonged to, orchestrated her temporary capture. Their intention? A sinister plan to make her vanish into the clutches of a world noble, destined for a life of enslavement. Her knowledge about her father's murder, shared with Warpoles, made them fugitives, now forced to conceal themselves from the relentless pursuit of the world government. Emu's decree to the Five Elders was unequivocal. Find Vivi and bring her before them, intensifying the chase and turning Vivi and Warpole into fugitives in hiding, desperately trying to evade the grasp of the world's most powerful entities, holding Bonnie captive until she turns 10. In the past, Jewelry Bonnie grappled with the grave sapphire scales illness. During this trying time, she found solace in the care of Queen Coney and encountered Alpha, a seemingly compassionate nurse. However, beneath the surface, Alpha harbored a hidden agenda. She was a CP8 agent assigned to keep Bonnie captive as a means to control Kuma's loyalty to the world government. Alpha manipulated Bonnie's communications by destroying letters from her father and continued to confine her even after the recovery. This raised suspicion among the people of Sorbet about Alpha's true intentions. However, when Bonnie managed to escape with Connie's assistance, Alpha's anger knew no bounds. She pursued them relentlessly to the open sea, threatening Bonnie and her companion with violence and harm. In a surprising turn, Bonnie revealed her hidden strength in a clash with Alpha, caught off guard by the true extent of her powers. This unexpected outcome proved Bonnie's resilience and strength, leaving Alpha defeated. The investigation into the CP unit disappearance on Egghead. Starting 2 months before the Egghead arc, the rogue satellite York informed the Five Elders of Vegapunk's illegal studies of the Void Century, prompting an investigation. As such, a CP5 ship was sent to Egghead, suddenly to disappear without a trace. A month later, the same thing happened to CP7 ship. and again to CP8. According to Dr. Vegapunk's satellite Pythagoras, all of the ships safely landed and left Egghead intact. It is later revealed that someone on Egghead did indeed orchestrate their disappearances, having used the Sea Beast weapons to drive the agents back to Egghead to capture them. There, the agents were imprisoned by Vegapunk's clone York, hidden in an old devil fruit research laboratory with nearly no food, and without the original Vegapunk's knowledge. The agents would later be released and given food by the Straw Hats in CP0, the elimination of Vegapunk and his satellites. CP0 agents Lucci, Kaku, and Stussy were sent to Egghead on the premise that they were delivering the Seraphim Esper and investigate the disappearances, though in reality, they were there to assassinate Vegapunk and his satellites. They forced their way onto the island when they were denied entry and soon defeated Atlas before encountering Luffy. In the end, thanks to York, they made it to Labo Phase, where the Straw Hats and Vegapunk were holed up, only for Lucci and Kaku to be betrayed by Stussy, who was working for Vegapunk. When York took over the Seraphim, the two agents were released in order to suppress them on the condition they did not target the Vegapunks before defeating Luffy. However, even the combined forces of Luffy and Zoro, as well as Lucci and Kaku, was not enough to defeat the Seraphim. In secret, Rob Lucci was feeding information about what was happening inside the laboratory to the Marine fleet outside, and later took an opening to attack Vegapunk, but his attempt was stopped by Stussy, who shielded Vegapunk. Lucci was then sent out of the laboratory by Zoro, engaging in a fierce duel, while Kaku was trapped inside a bubble like the ones the Seraphims were trapped inside of.